Well, hello, welcome to a wet week on my allotment. This video will take place over several days because I'm extremely busy at work. Can't fit in a whole day up here. We've just had another weekend away in our caravan in the Cotswolds, which was very nice, and I've come up here to check how everything's going. And we've reached that moment when you do all that work through the winter and you're frantic in the spring, and then, as you can see, the British summer has arrived and this weather is set to stay for several weeks, I believe. So that's the end of the watering woes. The main concern now is that things like the squashes and the pumpkins and things like that won't get enough sunshine and may start to wither a little, but we shall have to wait and see. But the good news is that on the plot things are growing well today, and I'm actually having the immense pleasure of picking several punnets of strawberries. I've only just started and I've filled our little container already. And it's an old cliche that people say, oh, you've not tasted fruit and veg till you've grown your own. And I have to say, some of the stuff, I'd be hard pushed to tell the difference with the stuff that you buy in the supermarket and the stuff you grow, and that's not always the case. There are a couple of things that are definitely different, and the greatest of which is the strawberry. Even the British strawberries that we tend to buy, and I've asked Cheryl not to bother in future, because even the British ones grown in Herefordshire and the Tay Valley in Scotland, they pick them when they're green, because if they pick them when they're ripe, by the time they get to you, they're a red mush. So they have to pick them when they're not ripe, which means the sugars don't develop, the sweetness, the taste, and you're just eating an inert fruit, completely tasteless, let alone the ones that come from abroad that travel even further. So when you bite into your own homegrown strawberry, trust me, the experience is like none you've ever had. Oh, I cannot begin to tell you. It makes every wet weekend, every set of muddy feet and hands, the rain in the eyes, it makes all of that worth it. Excuse me while I eat in front of you. That is almost a spiritual experience. It's certainly as close as I'll ever get to one. Oh boy. So what else is happening? Well, I forgot on the last video to take you over to Bridget's plot and show you those Phoenix strawberries. And I haven't been up here for about 4 or 5 days. So before I go any further, I'm going to get hold of the camera. I'm going to walk over to Bridget's plot and see if I can't show you those strawberries. I mean, that one I've just eaten was as big as a new potato, but hers will dwarf mine, so let's go and have a look. As I'm on my way, I thought I'd take the opportunity to repeat yet again what I've said on previous videos, that it is an absolute pleasure to be part of this land share plot at the moment. Everything is orderly, tidy, with produce. I don't want to turn too far because you'll just get a face full of rain. Here we go. Apart from my next door neighbour, of course, who stands out even more so now because everybody else has got a grip. But it is absolutely wonderful. It's worth walking around just to admire the work and effort that everyone's putting in. But I delay. Let's move to Bridget's plot and find them their strawberries. Well, I'm videoing the evidence of myself trespassing on Bridget's plot. I hope she doesn't mind, but it is absolutely bursting with produce. It's always a pleasure to come and see her plot because it's so different to mine. It's so colourful, vibrant. yeah, it's a real pleasure. Now, these are the strawberries I'm talking about, and actually they don't look as impressive as they did when I first saw them. They are big. It's under netting, so I can't put my hand there to show you something in perspective, but they are very, very large strawberries. Actually, the one I just ate on my plot was as big as these, but I think she's probably eaten the larger ones, and I'm pleased to see she seems to be spending all of her time and effort creating new plants from runners. She's way ahead of me as usual. So I'm hoping that one or two of those have got my name on. Bridget, if you're watching, I'm hoping one or two of those have got my name on. Fantastic. Yeah, a really, really wonderful, interesting, thriving 3 plots joined together. You can see now why we all come to Bridget for advice. Stunning. I finally got round to ordering a larger piece of Enviromesh, and that's now gone over my Brussels sprouts. So they've got another 2 feet of growing room in there, and there's enough Enviromesh spare on the bottoms for me to raise that even more. So I'm hoping that those Brussels sprouts can stay under that Enviromesh throughout almost all their life, right up until late autumn when I start to pick them, hopefully. And of course the piece that was over them has moved on now to the Calabrese and the kohlrabi, and then the 2 bits that I've turned the other way, this is a bit Heath Robinson, but with those 2 pieces and a bit of black butterfly netting, I'll keep the butterflies, the cabbage white butterfly, off my brassicas, although the white fly will obviously get through that, but so be it. And it's the same with the red cabbage Ladero over there. It's just under butterfly netting, and that's it. Not sure if the camera will pick it out, but these 3 rows are absolutely crammed full of ripe, ready to pick strawberries. I've picked the one bed and I've got this bed to do. So without further ado, I better get on with it. Well, I'm very happy with that. A few punnets of strawberries, some radish. I've actually got some spinach, although it's going to seed. There's enough leaves there for a small helping from the salad tonight. Some onion scapes where they're going to seed, and a couple of lettuce that I found hidden under the Brussels sprouts. So we can add that to our salad and a nice tasty pudding. That's what it's all about. Finally, the season of plenty is upon us. Even as it's raining, the bees aren't letting up. They're still coming down for water, and the pond is humming. The one good thing about the rain is I don't have to water, and with this little bit of guttering off the top of the shed dripping, even that modest drip is slowly filling this huge barrel. As they say, every little helps. Pelargonium in the watering can looks lovely. It's a really beautiful colour. The clematis I left in is doing its thing. And the blackcurrant, or the blackberry next door, is starting to fruit up. The carrots are coming on in the 2 barrels. I'm not going to bother thinning them. I somehow knew I wouldn't. I'm just going to leave them and let them get on with it. And I shall probably just take some early pickings, and that will thin it that way. The broad beans have got black fly really bad. It looks to me like it's killing the flowers and therefore killing the beans. That's awful. I suppose, you know, even next year I'm going to have to enviromesh the broad beans. It's astonishing. They're an absolute plague. But there you go. There are still some pods forming lower down. Maybe I will get a small crop, but yeah, next year enviromesh the broad beans. Despite this inclement cold weather, I do have one courgette forming on the courgette zucchini. And the runner beans, excuse me, the runner beans are making their way up. Not much further and they'll be up and round the top of the arch. I have peas. They're not filling out yet, but they're forming. So far they look clean, untouched by pests. Still less time, but they're looking good. And of course, I've got rows and rows of them. And these purple snap peas just keep growing. I've put more wire up and I think they need it. They're still going. Somebody said to me these grow 2.5 metres tall. I'll have trouble picking them, but no flowers yet. We shall see. The leeks are filling out. Rather pleased with that. A little bit of hoeing needed when I get a spare hour. But yeah, the leeks are looking good. The garlic all looks extremely sick. Covered in pustules. That's rust, I'm assuming. Garlic rust. Is that such a thing? Yeah, it looks really bad. I'm hoping it doesn't affect the garlic bulbs themselves. We shall see. But yeah, they're really bad. And of course this one nearest me, the 3 rows of Marco, they've almost all run to seed. So I won't be able to store those. Last year's garlic, we've still got some. It's survived right the way through and we're now into the 2nd week of June. So, and that was Germador, which is the one we're growing further down this bed. So I'm hoping that they will survive and we'll store them as well. And we're still eating last year's beetroot, which is good news. Some of the white onions are starting to run to seed now, which is bad news. Most of the red ones have, although they've reached a really good size. We'll just have to eat those first. But again, I've said it before, you have to adapt your expectations and adapt your eating habits so that you eat what you've got, not try and make the food match your meal plan. You take what you've got home and you adapt it and you make a meal out of what you've got. Potatoes over there look good. They're the second earlies nearest. The first earlies in the tubs over there are the slugs are eating the tops. I'm hoping the slugs haven't got into the tubs, but I imagine they have. If they've got into the tops, they'll have got into the potatoes. So we need to eat those as soon as possible, really. This arch came from home, no longer required. So I brought it up the allotment and I've got runner beans on the bottom. They've been nibbled badly by the slugs. So I'm absolutely convinced that Nemeslug stuff didn't work for me. It clearly works for others, but it doesn't work for me. And they've got some way to go if the slugs don't completely destroy them. Well, that's just a quick flying visit really. I know I'm busy this week. The weather forecast is atrocious all week long, right up to next weekend. So I think I'll, rather than do this over several days and not be able to do the video at all, I'll cut it short there. It's a quick look around and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Sorry I can't do more, but sometimes the conditions and life just gets the better of you. So I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.